oh, that's too bright. All that was running in the back of my mind playing.
Did you ever stop in all of that and have that one thought, these people came to me for me to do this, maybe I am good enough? Or were the other thoughts just so loud that you never had the opportunity to even think that during that time?
Those negative thoughts were so loud. I didn't think nothing about being good enough. I didn't think nothing about being good. I didn't think about why they came to me. All I heard, out of all the good that was being done, all I heard was the bad. That's all I heard. And I finally got to that point where when I got so overwhelmed with that project and I left, as a matter of fact, me and one of the ladies, we got in an argument about it. And I was like, she was telling me that I was slowful, and I was telling her that she was mean because she wanted her flyer, So it opened my eyes to a whole lot.
I can understand that. And you made some changes according to that.
Oh, yes. Yes. I made big changes. After that happened, I made big changes. I said, I'm not going to be second-guessing myself, third-guessing myself, because that's what I was doing. I said, I'm going to make 2 copies of a flyer. Whichever one I like the best, that's the one I'm going with, and I'm going to believe in the ability that God has given me. But, see, I didn't have that belief. In the Bible where it talks about, Lord, help my unbelief.
Right.
At that time, I believed in God, but I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I was capable of getting that done. So I learned how to work around that faulty thinking that I had, and to stop overgeneralizing, to stop, building upon the negative. And if it ain't but one good thought, let that one good thought run the whole show.
Right. And it sounds like what you had going hand in hand was you were procrastinating and you were also being a perfectionist. And it kept you feeling kept you in a state of feeling dissatisfied and like you were going to be a failure.
Sister Tanya, I'm telling you the honest truth. God had to deliver me from that. I was a how you say it?
A perfectionist.
Yes, that's what I was. I had to have it done a certain way. Everything had to be lined up a certain way. And if it wasn't lined up that certain kind of way that I was looking for, if it didn't catch my eye, I threw the whole project away. And I did this for at least 6 years, I know. And I threw away some good projects on kind of, trying to be that perfect person, trying to have that perfect work, that perfect, what they call it, not ego, but what is it? That perfect image. Let me just say it like that.
Okay. Yeah, the things that we tell ourselves are oftentimes 10 times worse than what somebody else could say to us. And that plays, negative things play over and over in your mind. I don't understand exactly why they weigh so much more than the positive, but most times people will focus and zoom in on the exact worst situation or the exact worst possible scenario that could play out and don't give any attention to what could actually go right.
Mhm. And I think that is because the bad outweighs the good, because actually we can find all kind of excuses in there to get away with our behavior.
All right. You find yourself struggling with constantly comparing yourself to others. When you are struggling or are having some difficulty with your self-esteem, you could go on Facebook and see a picture of your friend, and you start to tell yourself, based on the picture, she has such a great life. She does so many things. She is so successful. She has so many friends. She goes out a lot. I would love to go to the places that she goes when she goes on vacation. She's got just an amazing life. And what you don't know is 9 times out of 10, that's just a quick snapshot, and anybody can look happy in the picture for a couple of seconds. You don't know exactly what's going on in her house behind closed doors. She could be struggling with her self esteem. How many times have we looked at pictures and said, I wish I had this or I wish I had that? Well, I wish my life was like hers. We really don't know. That is why you need to focus on yourself and look at the things about you that you actually like that are really wonderful. Because I guarantee you there's somebody looking at you right now and wishing that they could do that one thing that you do. So I'd like to move on to number 5. Did you know that constantly saying yes to something, yes to everything, excuse me, is a sign that you're struggling with your self-esteem? It's because you're not enforcing healthy boundaries and you want to people please. Putting others' needs before your own. If you don't do it for yourself, who will do it? You think of yourself first and you put your own needs first. So you've got two different things going on. You've got the person that says yes to everything. Then you've got the person that is somewhat selfish. These are signs of people that are struggling with their self-esteem. Always dwelling on your negative experiences where you've made mistakes or you felt like this wasn't good enough, and you keep playing that situation over and over and over in your mind, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it never, no matter how many times you rehearse that thing in your mind, it never turns out the way that you want it. You pick it apart, you pick it apart, and you pick it apart, and you just continue to end up beating yourself up. Have you ever experienced any of those things, and how did you deal with them?
Oh my, yeah. I have experienced those kind of things, where I have dwelled on that negative. I've had that negative focus and just didn't move past there. And excuse me, I'm dealing with some allergies, y'all, so bear with me. But in the same situation that I'm talking about with the celebrity graphic designer, what ended up
Mm-hmm.
happening and why I got overwhelmed and why I was trying to be perfect too was because it was a yes man type of thing. It was like anytime they come to me, I was like, yes, I can do it. I can get it done. And it became overwhelming. I didn't have the strength in me to say no. I didn't have the identity in me to say no because at that time I didn't know exactly who I was. I knew I was out there, but I didn't, have, what I have in me now, my identity, which is through and by Christ. I was people pleasing to get ahead and to, be in this status, to have that spotlight with the celebrities and stuff. And I really just picked everything apart until there was nothing left but a broken me. And how I had to get through that, I had to get delivered from me. And that is often. That is often that I find myself in when I start feeling overwhelmed like that. I know that there's something with me, and I have to go to God and ask Him to deliver me from me so that I don't feel these things, so that I can address these things and not be stuck with that same negative thought just playing over and over. And as you said, still getting that same outcome. So this time around with God, I was able to get a better outcome. It was more like, I understand that you need some work to get done, but I already have something, I already have another obligation, and I'm unable to do it at this time, but maybe, in the future we can work together. I had to reframe how I was speaking to people and reframe how I was speaking to myself.
You have to be careful with yourself because if you don't take care of you, Who's going to take care of you? If you don't love you and value yourself as a person and say, this is what I'm willing to do and this is what I'm not willing to do, then how do we expect other people to value us, respect us, and treat us in the way that we know that we deserve to be treated? All of this is it goes hand in hand. Self-esteem and personal boundaries. I know for me, one of the things that I have struggled with has been perfectionism from time to time, or putting myself in a position where I'm constantly placing other people's needs ahead of my own and then becoming frustrated because I get overwhelmed or I get burnt out. And then I'm upset because when I need somebody to show up for me the way that I've shown up for them, the ball often gets dropped. I've said a few different times, I need a Tanya in my life. I need somebody in my life that's going to treat me the way that I've treated other people, the way that I've sown into other people, the way that I have gone the extra mile for other people. Because what you will recognize is when you set personal boundaries, when you have worked on your self-esteem and you've changed the way that you do stuff, people notice that when, I like to say, when you pull up on them and you park on them and you stop doing those things that you used to do that was burning you out and wearing you down and frustrating you and was just not good to you personally or mentally, when you stop doing all of those things, then it becomes a problem. Then you are the problem. When all you've really done is you've made yourself for once a priority. What would you say would be some signs of good self-esteem in a person?
Some of the signs I think of good self-esteem would be, you know that you're okay. If you don't get it right, just know that you're okay. Know that you can do it again. You might not be able to do it right then, but eventually something
Mm-hmm.
else will come along. Excuse me, throat. That's what I had to realize. Like, even on this broadcast, I'm up here choking up, but I know that, it's allergy season. I'm not going to beat myself up because I have allergies and I just happen to have to clear my throat, at the wrong time. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
know and be okay with who you are. And another sign of healthy self-esteem is you got to have confidence in yourself. There's no way you can run without confidence. And that confidence comes from God. And sometimes I see people who lack that confidence, and when they begin to speak, you can tell that fear is really all over them sometimes, and they'll break out sweating. I've been there, I've done that too before. And it's because of that lack of confidence in a certain area of their life. And the biggest thing for me was knowing that my self-esteem had healed, was being able to accept praise from others. Because in one session, I wanted praise from people, but I wanted it to be a private praise. And on the other hand, now where I'm at, it's okay. If you want to, thank God for my work or, honor me, it's fine because it is something that I've done, and I learned to stop disqualifying myself from the things that are good. And learning to like yourself, that's a sign of healthy self-esteem, and trust in yourself that you're going to make the best decisions for your life, and you're going to have self-respect and compassion not only for others but for yourself as well, and be happy for others. I remember there was a time when people would tell me that they got something good, and I just brushed them off like it didn't mean anything to me. I just act like I didn't even hear them, and they would be like, well, okay. And I would literally sit there and see that smile they have on their face turn to a frown when they would announce to me something that good happened in their life, and I would disqualify them. I would be like, okay, and then I changed the subject on them and start talking about something else. So when you have low self-esteem, you can feel it. It's heavy. It's a heavy feeling.